Look, nothing about this is smart.
Actually turning the knob right there, man.
Wow.
Just making sure he doesn't crash again.
I decided then and there, rally is fucking sick. Best motorsport in the planet. I have to have one of these things. Are you ready, Diego? You get my dramatic walk in? Come on. No, that's so pretentious. It's not me. When that car got wrecked, I looked at it was almost exciting because I was like, I get to buy a new car. Like I get into something different. And the more cars I looked at and everything, it's like, wow, everything else just kind of sucks, in my opinion. Not really, but honestly, I feel like the Evo is the best street car on the planet. So the first Evo, once again, back in New Jersey on the East Coast, I was doing, track days and autocross stuff. Had a little crew going, and my buddy Char bought that car new and just started racing it right off the bat. So I had the WRX, he had that thing. It looked much nicer back then. And he was just wailing on everybody. And fast forward a couple years, actually like 8 years, something like that. He was moving back to his home country. I saw it on eBay and I recognized his username, so I shot him a text. I'm like, dude, I need this thing. So fire sold the WRX, flew out to San Jose, California, and bought that thing from him for a screaming deal. No, it's like the lamest story on the planet, how that thing got wrecked. Without going into a lot of detail, I was pretty much stopped trying to merge onto a road. Dude came across, swooped across the front of the car. The white on white may have bit me a little bit because there was a snowbank behind me. So I'm saying maybe he didn't see me. Who knows? But yeah, a Subaru Legacy, a Subaru of all cars, came across the front of that thing, put the leg in, and bummed me out. It is full circle. It came back to bite me in the ass.
Talking about Subaru's the worst car in the world. I think there's some vengeance in
Whatever, getting back at him. STI or Evo? It's Evo, hands down. The diffs, the suspension design, the 4G63, I mean, everything about them is just better, except the interior. The interior on these things is like an '89 Toyota Tercel. But aside from that, Evo all day. Yeah, I don't know, the power level it's at right now is kind of wild. Like, bone stock block, stock head, stock cam, stock everything. Just a little turbo and injector upgrade, and this thing makes like 400-ish to the wheels, which for a car from the factory that's a 2-liter is kind of psycho, And it makes good noises.
Can we talk about one thing? And I'm sure that this will be we'll be split down the middle here, but I think the Evo is beautiful. But it comes with the grossest taillights ever.
Those are
OEM
Maltesas?
Gross.
No, those are good. Are you kidding me? That's the best part about it. Come on.
Evo 7 tails are the only tails to run on your
Sevens
Evo.
are the
Fight me.
sevens are the
Wait,
best.
can you just put Evo 7s on a 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
7, 8, 9.
That's great.
Which is my favorite thing about ordering Evo parts, because when you order Evo shit, you get the select down menu of like what model year and what kind of car. It says Evo 4 through 9. like 10, 15 years of generations, it's all the same part.
What parts can you go to the auto parts store and tell them that you have a Lancer?
Oh,
Like when you're like, yeah, it's a 2006 Mitsubishi Lancer. What can
Scotto
you get?
used to troll
What comes on the Lancer that's on this?
Scotto used to troll me all the time. He refused to call this an Evo. That one, he was always like, well, Ron's Lancer this, Ron's Lancer that. I'm like, dude.
What's done to this thing now? Is this boy stock?
No, it's stock-ish. It's on like some basic coilovers. Most of the work is in the motor. You got a BBK full turbo, which is like a 20G size turbo.
Big brake kit, full turbo.
Big brake kit turbo.
All Evo guys say, oh no, it's pretty stock, 35 pounds of boost, you know, like no big deal.
282 cams, E85 intercooler, but it's like stock, you know? Yeah.
Stock.
That's Evo. That is Evo
That's
talk.
Evo.
What are you doing?
Actually turning the knob right there, man.
Wow.
Just making sure he doesn't crash again. Just like,
Oh, because it was the front right. That was the problem.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
just tuning it up for you.
Just tuning it up.
Tuning it up.
Let me go over this thing.
It works better when all of them are on different settings.
That's because your chassis is like that.
Exactly.
Let's
talking.
talk about the difference between how Hurt adjusts suspension versus how Dan adjusts suspension.
There's 16 clicks. You were way up there.
What coilovers are these?
Don't judge. I didn't put them on there.
What
They're
are they?
Megan's.
Yeah, the clicks don't matter. The clicks don't matter. You're clicking for fun.
Who's Megan and why'd you steal her coilovers?
Yeah, I'm a KW guy. So yeah, why would you want a car with no radio, crank windows, no power door locks, there's no map light on this thing. There's no light. It's blank. That's all about weight. So the RS, they only imported like 360 of them to the US. It was made as a car that Mitsubishi would give to race teams. So when you're buying a car as a race team, you don't need any of that power stuff. I mean, you're gonna take that shit out anyway. So they figure, we'll sell a car cheaper. I think it was the cheapest one at the time, because it just doesn't have this stuff. And now, because there aren't that many of them and it was kind of a cool thing, the stripped down version is more rare and harder to find. I love it, except for one thing, and it's the gas mileage. So the gas mileage on E85 is horrendous, and this tank's only 12 gallons.
Oh, damn.
So I fill up probably once every 2 days. To get super nerd status on these, the coolest part about Evos and Subarus of that era is homologation. The reason homologation is so sick is because companies like Subaru and Mitsubishi, they had to make cars to a certain spec to be able to race in the WRC.
Stage rally is a form of motorsport that takes place on public or private roads with modified production cars that must be road legal. It is distinguished by not running on a circuit, but instead in a point-to-point format in which the driver and their co-drivers compete between set control points called special stages. Rallies take place on all surfaces and in all conditions: asphalt, gravel, or snow and ice, and sometimes more than one in a single rally, depending on the course and event. The World Rally Championship began in 1973, forming from many well-known and popular international rallies across the world, some of which date back to the early 1900s. From the exciting but fatal Group B era of the 1980s, to the Group A era cars of the 90s, the FIA's homologation rules gave birth to many legendary road-going versions of competition cars, such as the Subaru Impreza, Audi Quattro, Ford Escort Cosworth, and Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, all of which could be purchased at a dealership by mere mortals. And that's how we have unnecessarily capable grocery jetters today.
So because of that, you get really dope diffs, you get crazy stuff in the ECU. The suspension design is exactly what carries over to the race car. You got street car parts that make it more normal for the street, make it sellable to the average person, but there's so much stuff on these things that came from rally cars, directly from it, that had to be legally put in there. Box flares, stuff like launch control in the ECU, anti-lag, all that stuff is in these cars, and that's so f***ing sick to me that it had to carry over by law from the FIA. No, the way I got into rally was even a little before that. So 2002, 2003 era, I was watching Speed Channel as a young, impressionable lad in the great state of New Jersey. And Petter Solberg won the championship that year. So I was watching him in a Subaru doing Rally Sweden, Rally Finland.
And the best bit about it?
Monte Carlo, Spain, all those things in the same car, jump in, slide in, getting super sideways. He was like a super showy driver at the time. And that same era in the dealer, that was right when the WRX came to America. So to me, it was unbelievable that you could go to a dealership and get pretty much the same looking car that Petter was driving. They won a championship in rally. So I had to have one. Like I decided then and there, rally is fucking sick. Best motorsport on the planet. I have to have one of these things. I took a really weird way into the rally scene. So starting at 0 to 60, we did a story on co-driving. I co-drove with a dude called Chris Duplessis, went to Team O'Neill Rally School, did a rally there, did a rally in Oregon, and through meeting all those people and through Scotto, I ended up working for Ken Block. And because of that, went to Rally Turkey. That was my first event ever. Shot photos there and ended up shooting 8 years of the World Rally Championship after that. One of the coolest things was like when I joined Ken's team, his race principal, like the dude that runs his race team, is named Derek Dauncey. He was the dude that ran the Mitsubishi rally team. So he was telling me all these crazy stories about like, you know, you had the full-on rally team and you had, you know, 2 competition cars and they had parts runner cars. So they had like half-built race car Evos that if a dude broke apart halfway down the stage, Derek would get to jump in, blast down stage roads and go help him fix the car. Like all kinds of stories like that, but it's such a crazy thing to be able to watch your heroes on TV doing all this crazy rally stuff, and then oddly through this weird life path, you end up with the people that made that stuff happen. I don't know, it doesn't make any cool noises yet. It's definitely got no chop.
Pull the vacuum line off.
Yeah, perfect. That's how you warm it up on the limiter.
That's the red limiter on Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the stock Evo. We're gonna bring you more stock vehicles in 2020. It should be a really good show. I hope you enjoy every episode.
Ooh, what if that's...
Shout out to Ron for having a stock Evo. Well-tuned suspension.
I hate you.
I just want to point out, this is bullshit. I didn't have a set when I made my episode.
Had to sit on a tire.
I had to sit on the tire. I didn't get a fucking gold eagle.
No, you sat in the NRGC.
Yeah,
that was
I got a painted pencil, an eagle, all kinds of props.
I would say this is for day one people, but you're pretty much day one person, so.